The text message ignited the screen of her cell phone at midnight, the usual place. Come alone. Olivia's heart pounded, thudding against her ribs as she read it for the third time, fourth time, who was counting? She knew she shouldn't go, that the voice of reason was screaming at her to stay put, to ignore the irresistible call. But her body betrayed her, already moving, already aching for him. She slipped into her dark jeans, the fabric whispering against her legs, and pulled on his old sweater, the one he'd left at her apartment months ago. Its scent was faded now, but still distinctly his, a mixture of cologne and something innately Gabriel, earthy and masculine. She snatched her keys from the kitchen counter, her hands trembling with the sheer intensity of anticipation. Outside, the city was asleep, swathed in the deep blues of a sleeping urban jungle. But inside Olivia, a tempest of desire and fear was wide awake. The rooftop garden was their sanctuary away from prying eyes, a haven where they were not a scandal, not a secret, but just two people in love. The city lights twinkled below like fallen stars, their glow reflecting off the slick, rain-drenched surfaces of the buildings around them. Gabriel was already there when she arrived, a silhouette against the inky night, his strong jawline defined by the faint neon glow of a billboard on the adjacent building. The sight of him made her breath hitch, a feeling akin to plunging into icy water. "I thought you wouldn't come," he said, his voice rough, the edges frayed with emotion. The space between them crackled with the unresolved tension of their forbidden romance. In the dim light, she could just make out the lines of his face, the way his eyes held her, like she was his North Star in the stormy sea of his life. They talked under their breath, their whispers swallowed up by the hum of the city below. Every sentence was a dance, a careful tiptoe around their situation. His hand found hers in the darkness, his skin warm against hers, a comforting presence. She didn't pull away, the silent admission of her surrender resonating louder than any words could. "We can't keep doing this," she whispered, even as she stepped into his space, her body betraying her words. He smelled like the rain that had just stopped, like danger and everything she should run away from. "Your wife, don't," he interrupted her, pressing his forehead to hers, the warmth of his skin a stark contrast to the cold air around them. "Not tonight." Her heart ached at the rawness in his voice, at the despair that clung to those two words. She was caught in the eye of a hurricane, the turmoil of their love spinning all around her, threatening to pull her under. Scene for the night was a symphony of muted colors, and the city, usually vibrant and alive, was lost in slumber. Olivia drove aimlessly for a while, the thrumming of the car engine a soothing balm to her restless heart. She took a deep breath, the faint scent of pine from the air freshener mingling with the comforting, familiar scent of worn-out leather from the car seats. Rain started to tap against the windshield, the rhythm like a heartbeat, steady, insistent. It matched her own, pounding in her chest with an intensity that made her feel alive. She let her thoughts wander, lost in the labyrinth of memories and the echo of his voice. The radio crooned an old tune, a melody shared between them. An ironic smile traced her lips. He had always been a fan of vintage rock, its lyrics often becoming their secret language. The song was their anthem, their confession, their unspoken love letter. Every word, every note, was a piece of their heart stitched together, a melody of unsaid words and unshed tears. Away from the verdant cityscape, she parked on the deserted beach, the lullaby of crashing waves a stark contrast to the storm brewing within her. The winds whispered tales of their love, and the sea seemed to echo her heart's song of longing. Scene 5. Under the cloak of the quiet night, Olivia walked along the sandy beach, memories of him washing over her with each crash of the waves. Their laughter echoed in the wind, and their footprints, now washed away, were imprinted in the canvas of her heart. She remembered the stolen kisses under the moonlit sky, the promises whispered in hushed tones, and their dreams woven into the tapestry of stars. Her heart ached as she remembered his touch, a ghostly sensation that still lingered on her skin. She thought of his smile, the way it always reached his eyes, and the sound of his laughter, as comforting as a well-loved melody. The memory of his whisper, feather-light against her ear, sent shivers down her spine, the echo of his words still resonating within her. "You are my hidden love, Olivia." A sigh escaped her, heavy with longing. The love they shared was beautiful and tragic, a secret they kept hidden from the world, a flame that burned brightly in the cloak of the night. Scene 6. She sat down, her fingers idly tracing patterns in the sand as she looked at the vast expanse of the sea. The moon was veiled by clouds, casting an ethereal glow on the waves, a scene that mirrored the turmoil within her. She thought about the text, about his voice, raw with desperation. She knew the intensity of their love could consume them, could burn them to ashes, but the flame was too alluring to resist. His pain was her pain, his joy was her joy, and his secrets were her secrets. Their lives were intricately woven together, a beautiful and intricate tapestry stained with tears and laughter, fear and longing, despair and hope. Olivia knew the golden dawn would soon chase away the silver night, and they would return to their separate lives, their love hidden away from prying eyes. But for now, she was lost in the night, in the silence, in his memory. As the first rays of dawn peeked over the horizon, she whispered into the wind, a promise, a plea, a prayer, "I will always come, Ethan. Always." Their love was their secret, their refuge, their curse, and their blessing. And as she drove back to the city, the sun's first rays illuminating her path, she held their secret close to her heart, a precious gem shrouded in the mist of morning. But the dawn also brought with it a question: how long could they keep their love hidden, keep their romance a secret? Yet, for now, she chose to live in the moment, to cherish their stolen time, and to lose herself in the intoxicating maze of their secret love. Scene 7. Rain pattered softly against the glass windows of the coffee shop. The city's nighttime glow softened by the glistening wet streets, reflected in the tiny droplets streaking down the windowpane. All was quiet except for the soft hum of conversation, the clink of porcelain cups, and the gentle hiss of the espresso machine. Olivia sat alone at a corner table, fingering the ring he had given her, a simple band of silver, nothing ostentatious, yet it meant the world to her. She was early, eager as always to see him, yet anxious about the clandestine nature of their meetings. Suddenly, the door chimed softly as it opened, and a gust of cold air swept in, causing goosebumps to ripple up her arms. She didn't need to look up to know he was there, she could feel his presence, as if an unseen magnetic pull drew her to him. Scene 8. Sorry, I'm late. His smooth voice spread warmth through her, like a comforting blanket enveloping her. He removed his rain-soaked coat, revealing a navy sweater that clung to his broad shoulders. His dark hair was slightly damp from the rain, and the light from the overhead lamps made his green eyes shimmer. No, it's fine," she stammered, her heart fluttering as he leaned down to kiss her cheek. His touch, feather-light yet firm, sent waves of electricity tingling down her spine. He sat across from her, his eyes intense as they studied her face. "You're shaking, Olivia," he noted, concern lacing his words. He reached across the table, covering her trembling hands with his. The warmth of his touch seeped into her skin, grounding her. A sigh escaped her lips. "I can't help it, Aiden, all of this scares me." "I know," he whispered, his thumb gently stroking her hand, "it scares me too. But, I can't stay away from you, Liv." In his eyes, she saw her own fears mirrored, their shared tumultuous emotions creating an unspoken bond between them. Yet, beneath it all was a burning passion, an unquenchable desire that tugged at their hearts, pulling them together even as the world sought to tear them apart. Scene 9. The rain outside had lessened to a drizzle, the city's cacophony now a distant hum. Inside the coffee shop, time seemed to stand still as Olivia and Aiden shared stolen glances and whispered words. "Why can't things be simple, Aiden?" Olivia whispered, her eyes glistening with unshed tears. "Why can't we just be normal?" Aiden was silent for a moment, his fingers tracing invisible patterns on the back of her hand. "Because," he finally uttered, his voice low but firm, "normal doesn't always mean happiness. I'd rather be with you in this chaotic, frenzied mess than live a normal life without you." His words hung in the air, a poignant reminder of the love they shared, and the challenges that threatened to pull them apart. As he leaned forward, pressing a soft kiss to her forehead, Olivia closed her eyes, allowing herself to sink into the sweet abyss of their hidden romance, their secret love. Scene 10. The rain began to fall, dotting the window with crystalline droplets that refracted the city's lights into a kaleidoscope of colors. Olivia sat on the edge of her bed, the taste of his lips still fresh in her memory. The reality of their situation weighed heavy on her, the euphoria of their stolen moments progressively tainted by the bitter aftertaste of deception. As the rain intensified, so did her thoughts. Her heart ached, yearning for the impossible. She glanced at the photograph on her bedside table, an image of the two of them, stolen during a moment of carefree laughter. Olivia touched the glass over his face, her fingers tracing the contours of his smile. She retrieved her phone from the pocket of his sweater, her heart fluttering as she noticed a new message from him. Her thumb hovered over the screen, her mind warring with her emotions. She opened the message, her heart pounding in her chest as she read the words, "I miss you already." Scene 11. Despite the late hour, the city was alive with activity. The harsh glare of neon signs bathed the streets in a surreal glow, the bustling nightlife a stark contrast to the quiet solitude of her apartment. She walked, allowing the city to swallow her as she lost herself in the labyrinth of her thoughts. Her phone buzzed again, another message from him. She read his words, her heart twisting with the mounting tension between them. "I know we can't have everything, but what if we could have something? What if we could fight for this?" She stared at the screen, his words filling her with a mixture of hope and despair. She wanted to fight for them, for their love, but the magnitude of their situation was overwhelming. The world outside of their secret seemed so large, so daunting. Her heart pounded in her chest as she typed her response, "I don't know if I can fight for a love that has to remain hidden." Scene 12. The following morning, Olivia sat in the quiet of her office, the hushed whispers of her colleagues a stark contrast to the turmoil within her. She stared at the computer screen, her mind replaying the previous night's events. Her heart ached, the reality of their situation sinking in. Her phone buzzed, startling her from her thoughts. It was a message from him. She hesitated, her heart pounding as she opened the message. "I understand your fears, but remember, the sun still shines even when hidden behind the clouds." The analogy was a poignant reminder of their situation. Their love, like the sun, was there, but hidden. She sighed, her fingers brushing over the screen as she pondered over his words. It was complicated, their situation was far from easy, but beneath the layers of secrets and deceptions, their love was real, and that was something she couldn't ignore. She typed a single word in response, her decision made, "Okay." Scene 13. As the autumn sun began to set, the office lights reflected a golden hue on Olivia's face. She stared blankly at the computer screen, lost in her thoughts. The day had been a whirlwind of emotions, but one thing was clear in her mind, she had to confront her past. Her heart fluttered as she picked up her phone and dialed the familiar number. The call clicked to voicemail, filling the room with the familiar, soothing tones of Nathan's voice. Olivia's throat tightened, and with a trembling voice, she whispered, "Nathan, we need to talk. Meet me at the coffee shop at 8? As she ended the call, a sense of determination filled her. The air in the room seemed to grow lighter, filled with a sense of purpose. Olivia knew it was time to face what she had been running from. Scene 14. The bell above the door of the coffee shop chimed as Olivia stepped inside, her heart pounding in her chest. The aroma of freshly brewed coffee filled the air, mingling with the faint scent of cinnamon and old books. The shop was dimly lit, creating an intimate, cozy atmosphere. A soft jazz melody floated through the air, setting the rhythm of her heartbeat. Nathan sat at their usual spot by the window. His dark hair was slightly tousled, his hands clasped around a steaming mug of coffee. His gaze was focused outside, lost in the dance of the falling leaves. Seeing him there, so vulnerable, tugged at Olivia's heartstrings. She took a deep breath and approached him, her footsteps echoing on the wooden floor. As she sat across from him, their eyes met, revealing depths of emotions that words couldn't capture. The silence was thick, heavy with unspoken words, unshed tears, and unresolved feelings. Finally, Nathan broke the silence, his voice low and soft, "Olivia, I've missed you." His words cut through her like a knife, and Olivia felt her resolve wavering. She took a sip of her coffee, buying time to steady her trembling voice. "Nathan," she began, "I need to tell you something." Scene 15. The words tumbled out of Olivia's mouth, her confession echoing in the quiet coffee shop. She told him about the text, her feelings, and the internal conflict she'd been battling since that fateful night. She confessed her love, her fear, and the desperation that led her to keep their relationship a secret. Nathan listened in silence, his eyes softening with each word. As she finished, he reached across the table, his hand covering hers. The warmth of his hand was comforting, a testament to the connection they shared. "Olivia," he said, his voice filled with an emotion she couldn't quite decipher, "I never stopped loving you. And I'm not afraid to say it anymore. I don't want to hide us either." Tears welled up in Olivia's eyes as she heard his words. His confession filled her with a sense of relief and happiness she hadn't felt in a long time. Their secret love had been brought to light, casting away the shadows of their hidden romance. As they left the coffee shop hand in hand, the night wrapped them in a comforting embrace. The city lights twinkled like stars, painting a beautiful canvas for their newfound courage. The final scene faded with their silhouettes disappearing into the night, hinting at a future filled with open honesty and shared love. The end of their secret love marked the beginning of a new chapter. A chapter where they no longer needed to hide, where their love story was theirs to write. The resolution was satisfying, bittersweet, and above all, filled with hope for what was to come.